What's going on, everybody? Celiac here, and I'm going to get straight into this video. This is Punta Gorda basically saying that they can violate the concealed weapons permit law here, and they can basically do what they want. So watch all the way to the end. I give my final thoughts on this, but yeah, this is ridiculous. Don't forget, hit that like, share, and that subscribe button. All that good stuff. Celiac, deuces.
My name is Louis LaBarbera, and I know you've been hearing quite a bit about the sign ordinance, but I'm actually here to talk about a different ordinance, Section 15-37, banning concealed carry within the city of Punta Gorda. According to your ordinance, it says whoever in the city of Punta Gorda, Florida, shall carry a concealed weapon or electric weapon or device or on or about his person shall be guilty of the misdemeanor in the first degree. The carrying of a concealed weapon is hereby declared a breach of peace. According to Florida Statute 790.33, that is illegal. That is illegal. Only the state can make regulations for firearms. So, are you going to be getting rid of this? Because that's another lawsuit. On top of the lawsuit you already had for free speech, won by Andrew Sheets. How much money is this going to take from the taxpayers? How much money is David Levin going to waste of the taxpayers? I applaud you, Mr. Dryberg, for wanting to hold people accountable.
Sir.
So I am very happy that you
Sir,
got your seat.
Please do not address a single council person.
Okay. But I applaud you. Anyways, we need to know how much money has been wasted of the taxpayers. That needs to be brought up to the light, to the public. They need to know of the ignorance of your attorney. I do support in him being fired immediately, because I feel like I'm talking to dry ears, because it's not your money. It's not going to come out of your pocket, anybody's pocket besides the taxpayers. You need to fire that tyrant.
You are out of order, sir.
Order for a number of years. A law firm that has specialties in litigation, real estate, environmental, corporate law, tax law. We represent counties and cities throughout the state of Florida. We represent the Sarasota County property appraiser through the city's concealed weapon ordinance. And the city manager received a voicemail that was forwarded to me questioning the constitutionality of our ordinance as it relates to concealed weapons. And I presented yesterday a legal opinion addressing that. I was not expecting it would be up for discussion today. And I've asked the city manager to send you a copy of that opinion. I had done a fair amount of research with respect to that issue. The Attorney General has rendered opinions with respect to that issue, and the Second District Court of Appeal, the appeals court that this part of Florida goes to for appellate decisions, has all rendered opinions that ordinances such as ours are constitutional. What the concern is that was raised by the citizen, although not really expressed very articulately, was that under the Florida Constitution and under state statute, the legislature has preempted the regulation of firearms.
I want to stop him right there, because in the state of Florida, we are not issued a concealed firearms license. We are issued a concealed weapon or firearm license. Under your ordinance, which is not regulated by the state, our concealed weapons and firearms license is regulated by the state. So me possessing a concealed weapon lawfully under your ordinance, what are we dealing with here? Apples to apples, oranges to oranges. You can't regulate this. If somebody is lawfully allowed to possess said weapon, concealed weapon license, you are in violation of the law. I'm going to dig deeper into this, and I know where this lawyer is trying to go with the wording of it, but I don't think it's going to work out in his favor, and it might cost $400.
Preempted the regulation of firearms. The statute that talks about firearms and concealed weapons in particular distinguishes two different classes of cases: concealed firearms and concealed weapons. And there's a definition for firearms in the statute, and there's a definition of firearms in our ordinance, as well as the definition of weapons in our ordinance and the definition of weapons in the state statute. Our definitions are word for word consistent with the definitions that are in the state statute.
Well, here in the state of Florida, we are issued a license to carry concealed weapons or firearms. One or the other, and or both. That is the law. Now, we are going to go into the next part of this. 790.06, Section 16 of the Florida statute. The legislator finds as a matter of public policy and fact that it is necessary to provide statewide uniform standards for issuing licenses to carry weapons and firearms for self-defense, and finds it necessary to occupy the field of regulations of the bearing of concealed weapons or firearms for self-defense to ensure that no honest law-abiding person who qualifies under the provisions of this section is subjectivity or arbitrarily denied his or her rights. Down at the very bottom, this section shall be liberally construed to carry out the constitutional right to bear arms for self-defense. This section is supplemental and addition to existing right to bear arms, and nothing in this section shall impair or diminish such rights. This Punta Gorda can't do this. The legislator. This is saying the legislator. You know what I mean? They can't do this. But they're going to do it anyway because they think they're above the law. And we'll find out. I guess so.
And the Second District Court of Appeal recognized that when you have a definition that excludes firearms from the definition of weapons, that the preemption relating to firearms does not prevent the city from adopting an ordinance that deals just with concealed weapons, where the definition of weapons excludes firearms. So our concealed weapons ordinance does not prevent the concealment of firearms. It only prevents the concealment of weapons that are defined to exclude firearms, and therefore our ordinance is not preempted by the state statute regarding firearms.
2.5 million people have one of these concealed weapons or firearms license here in the state of Florida. That's roughly about 1 in every 10 people you walk across have one of these and could be lawfully carrying a concealed weapon and or a firearm. But Punta Gorda says no, you can't conceal a weapon here, but you can carry a firearm, you can openly carry a firearm, but for some reason they think that they can just say no to weapons. Okay.
And you'll see in the opinion that I rendered, that's more fully explained. But I'm
always concerned when someone suggests that the city can be sued for something that's unconstitutional.
I'm always concerned when someone suggests that the city can be sued for something that's unconstitutional.
All right, guys, I literally just got woken up to the news from Andy Sheets. He decided to call at 8 in the fucking morning to let me know that he won in state court. So he woke us up just to let us know about himself, because he's selfish like that. This is the Punta Gorda sign ordinance, where you're not allowed to have an indecent sign, flag, bumper sticker, banner. So you can't have a flag that says fuck Biden, fuck Trump, whoever it is you want to fuck. I don't get in the middle of that fucking shit. All right?
And the truth of the matter is, anyone that has the filing fee can file suit against the city on any issue. And even when I do the research that I do, and I thank you, Mayor, it was quite extensive, and that's why the city's bill for that is a lot more than I think any of us would really have appreciated or wanted. It's to be as thorough as I can to predict what the outcome of a court challenge would be based upon the precedent that's established in the law books. And while I sit here today to tell you, and in my opinion we'll also reference the opinion of the Second District Court of Appeal, which recognizes that there is a distinction under the statute between firearms and weapons, I cannot guarantee that the Second District Court of Appeal will abandon that precedent, or that another District Court of Appeal out of the state of Florida might come up with a different opinion than the Second District Court of Appeal, which might ultimately come out and say that our ordinance violates the preemption language. And so all I can tell you is that the only guarantee that you have to avoid being sued and then losing the lawsuit is to never adopt an ordinance that somebody might say violates the Constitution.
So here are my final thoughts about this whole thing. This lawyer is using the wording, which a lot of lawyers will, and that is what is happening here, is that he is saying the word weapon isn't in the preemption law. But in the 790.06 statute, legislation still creates these statutes and gave that power to the agriculture department. But the legislation still has control of this. And for Punta Gorda to restrict 2.5 million lawful Floridians by an ordinance that they can't create, or at least in my opinion, my feelings, I'm not a lawyer, none of that, just so everybody knows, but in my opinion, from just this wording, that they still can't create weapons ordinances. Especially if you have a concealed weapons permit. A concealed weapons and firearms or firearms permit here in the state of Florida. And then think about all the people that visit Florida, that visit Punta Gorda, that possibly have a concealed weapons permit, that their reciprocity is here in the state of Florida. So all those people would be in violation. And now let's think about the women. And I'm not trying to downplay this, but think about women. In their ordinance, they say chemical sprays for women that carry, pepper spray or any things like that in their purse to protect themselves. It's concealed in their purse, and if they don't have a concealed weapons permit, they would be in violation of this law. And even if they had a concealed weapons permit, a concealed weapons and firearms permit, they would still be under violation of this law. Let's think about all the women that have those little stun guns that are in their purse or on their person hidden. Those women would also be in violation of that law. So I want you all to put your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this. If there's somebody out there that is more of a lawyer and understands more about if this is lawful, please email me at thearmedfisherman@gmail.com. I would love to hear your legal opinions or your more of understanding of this. But from what I feel and what I'm trying to understand is how the legislation still grants the people to carry a weapon or firearm in the state, but Punta Gorda just says, nah, we ain't dealing with that. So leave your comments down below and tell me what you think. And I'm out of here. Soliaker, deuces.